There we go. Yeah, so I'm back. It's almost 11:30. A little bit later than I, shall we say, wanted to, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, so we will be returning back to Last of Us Part 1. But I just thought it'd be interesting, and I might actually go in depth on where I bought most of these games and sort of the rationale behind it. So all of them, except I think all of them still have their discs in it. I hope. Yeah. So PS3 still has its disc. I really hope. Yes. So that still has its disc, and basically the different covers as well. Oh yeah, right. I forgot Part 2 for PS4 was different. Meaning it has 2 discs. I completely forgot about that. And basically all the different cover variations of it, because like I said, I have all of the different variations basically. So yeah, so obviously we have the first one. This is obviously for the PS3, and as you can see, there's the disc, and this one actually has a reversible cover, actually, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, but obviously I kept it with the original on it. And why did I buy it? Well, at the time, so this would have been 2018, 2019, and I owned it digitally on PS3. I still actually have my PS3 from 2008, so it's what, 17 years old, I think. Yes, I did the math right. Yes, 17 years old, and it still works. Haven't used it in a while, but it still works and all that. And I only owned it digitally back in the day. And so one night in 2019, I think, I wanted to play it, so I started the install, and it would get about 60, 70% done, and then just basically stop. And it was like that for like an hour or two, and I'm like, okay, there's something wrong here. And unfortunately, I started the download quite late. And when I mean late, I mean like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Maybe a little bit earlier, but not by much. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I need to buy an actual disc. And at that time, there was no stores that were open at that time. Everything was closed. And so I was like, okay, I know I couldn't do it the next day because I had class, right? Because I was still in college at the time. But I knew the next day after I was able to go up to a retro store that was sort of close to me at the time. And so I called them to make sure they even had a copy before I went up there, because it was about a half hour, 45-minute walk from where I was at the time. And there's the guy who's there. So it's basically a retro store / repair shop. And the guy said, no, we don't have any. And like, no fault of the guy. Like, I'm not blaming the guy. Like, the guy didn't know because he ran the repair shop, whereas the guy who runs the retro side, I believe, wasn't in at that time. But I was like, you know what, I'll still pop up anyways. And obviously they did have it. This is the one that I actually bought from them. I bought a few games from that location over the last little bit. Not recently, but when I was in that area. My original copy of Halo CE, my copy of Halo 2, which at the time only was basically the behind the scenes disc. It wasn't an actual gameplay disc, but I think it was early this year or last year. I can't remember. I think it was this year. I grabbed a couple games from Amazon. One of them was Halo 2 because obviously I wanted to have a proper copy of Halo 2, and ODST because I never owned ODST physically. I only owned it digitally through Master Chief Collection. So, yeah. But my Halo CE was bought from them as well. Then we move on to the PS4 version. And like I said, now we're getting into ones that I can still play if I wanted to. We have, obviously, The Last of Us Remastered. I really wish it was a black label like this copy of Last of Us Part 2, but you know what? For what I paid for this off of Amazon, not too bad. Again, it's reversible artwork. If you can sort of see that behind the red case, I'll pull it up slightly. There's the reversible. Yeah. So yeah, again, the two different variations of covers. PS3 and obviously the PS4 version. Yeah, so the PS4 version was bought off of Amazon around February last year or year before for birthday. Alongside a couple other games as well for like GameCube and stuff like that, which I still do have a console that I can play GameCube. It's just not hooked up at the moment. And that is my very, very dusty Nintendo Wii. So this is about 20 years. It'll be 20 years next year, actually. Because this is, yeah, RVL 001. So this is the first one that actually was GameCube compatible. Yeah, 2006. So, yeah. So, it's one of my more longer serving consoles. Like I said, I still have my 2008 PS3. And I also have a couple 360s as well. One's from North America, the other is from Japan. So, I am still looking at games from for that version, for the 360 from Japan. If anybody knows of good games that are Japanese only, meaning that they were only released in Japan, but have English subtitles, let me know in the comments below, please. And then, I think then last year, I was actually in Scarborough for a bit, meeting a buddy of mine from college, because I had to head into Toronto, but I was like, why don't we meet up for a bit before I have to head down to Toronto, because I was actually trying to fix someone's laptop, but unfortunately it would have costed way too much. So, yeah, but before popping down, picked up Last of Us Part 2. I owned this digitally before I actually bought a physical copy. Typically, I don't do that. Typically, I would buy physical first, and then buy digital once it's on sale or whatnot. But in this case, I did it reverse. This was actually on sale first, digitally, and unfortunately, I just couldn't find one here in my area. So obviously, I went when I was in Toronto. Actually, like I said, Scarborough, picked it up there, and it still wasn't cheap. It was still like 75, 80 bucks or something. I can't remember what exactly I paid for it. Because I didn't keep the receipt in here. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, very, very happy to have this copy in. And again, it is a reversible cover, but I typically leave covers as they were. Yeah, so yeah, so just trying to see, like, is the, oh no, close enough. Yeah, then we get into the PS5 versions, and yeah, so the funny thing is, actually, I found Last of Us Part 2 remastered before I was able to buy Part 1, which was kind of funny. So I picked this up at the EB Games actually near me, which is about 45 or so minutes from where I live. And this was actually pretty reasonable. I think it was like 60 bucks, just around that. So 60 bucks for the remaster for Part 2 for PS5. Hey, it's not bad. But again, since I owning the remaster of the PS4 version, I was actually able to get the PS5 version for, I think it was like 15 bucks or something, because of the upgrade. So super happy to do it that way rather than having to pay full price, which is just ridiculously crazy. I actually don't know how much it is normally. Let me see here. Yeah, so it's typically 65 bucks, which is actually not too bad for the PS5 version. But I was able to get it for 15 just because of owning the PS4 version because of the upgrade. You can buy the bundle, and it's $130 Canadian, so that's about $140 probably at the end of the day, or close to it. Yeah, and it was actually funny actually because I bought the next game, and another game. Give me a second to grab it. In this game, so I bought these two together because from Video Games Plus, where all except two, yeah, all except two of my PS5 games I bought from. This was well, PS5 I should say. Right. This was EB Games, not far, which is the one not far from where I live, but these two were from Video Games Plus. This one was actually sold out for quite a while, and they emailed me at one point to say, hey, by the way, it's back in stock. I'm like, okay, cool. And I knew it was going to be expensive, and I had the budget available for it, and it ended up being like 50% off. So I'm like, done. But I knew that it wasn't at the price I needed it to be, because, like I said, it was on sale, and I still ended up actually having to pay shipping at the end of it, because Immortals Phoenix Rising. This does have a PS5 upgrade available. I just have to put the disc in whenever I want to play it. So that was $9.99, and then Last of Us Part 1 was $39.99. And as of recording, it's full price at $89.99. And then Immortals, yeah, it's still $9.99. So for like $10, I was like, you know what, screw it. There are a few games in my collection that are, I would say, somewhat of a bit of a risk, because of what I paid for them. Like Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, that was a bit of a risk, but I ended up actually enjoying it, so I ended up buying the full basically the one that has all the content. Yeah, so it is the one that I wish Ubisoft's website was a little bit easier to navigate, because it just says so there's different versions, obviously. So give me a sec here. So if I do, yeah, so I have to go in this way. So it still shows just a standard version. So I ended up buying the basically the Ultimate Edition, basically, which has everything. So it has the base game, the season pass, the Ultimate Pack, and the art book. So yeah, it was expensive. I can't remember exactly. It wasn't hyper expensive, I should say, because I grabbed it on sale for actually a decent price. I think I paid like $60 for it, I think. Let me see here. Yeah, so there we are. Continue. Yeah, so it was kind of funny, actually, that I bought the standard version, and then almost immediately buying the the Ultimate Edition. Which, like I said, I'm just going through my order history here and just try to see. Yes, here it was. Avatar Ultimate Edition. I paid $57.62, so I saved about $120 for it. Which for some reason is not showing up. When you search for it, it doesn't show up. The base game itself is actually pretty reasonable. It's like $45. So that's pretty reasonable. And you might be wondering, what games are you looking at next? So I do actually have one game coming next year. Let me put these games away and I will grab that game. And it's High on Life 2. Yes, I know this is High on Life 1, but I do have High on Life 2 coming. I have it ordered. Again, it's one of those reversible covers. But yeah, so I was actually looking. The funny thing is, I actually could have bought this way earlier than I did. I bought this in August. And we just recently played it like a bit ago. But yeah, so I ended up actually, like I said, buying it in August. At the same time that I ordered actually another 2 games, actually, which one of them we've already played on the channel a little bit, not a lot. We got through, like, I think the first little bit of the game, but we haven't played the other one that I bought at the same. Actually, yeah. Give me a minute. So, yeah. So, if you guys don't know, we will also be playing this game at some point. Not the Switch version. This is the Switch version of Lollipop Chainsaw. This is actually from Limited Run. I ordered this again in August of last year. And again, it was not cheap. Yeah, so when did I order this? So I ordered this August 11th of last year. And it was like $60.64 US. So super happy to have this in the collection. And it's actually numbered too. It's number 248. And that is actually how many they had made. So this is the last version that they had made for Switch. And when I was looking at other games, I found that that again, Video Games Plus had Cult of the Lamb. This was actually the last one that they had, and I think as of recording, they actually do not have Cult of the Lamb in stock as of now. It's still sold out. So I ended up ordering because I didn't want to have to pay for shipping if I could have avoided it. So I picked up, which is the version that we're going to be playing, Lollipop Chainsaw. So this is number 111, which is the last copy that they made for PS5. So yeah, super happy to finally get my hands on the PS5 version. Because the reason why I went with the Switch originally was because that was the only console that I could actually buy physically, meaning a cartridge or a disc, basically. Because my Xbox One is digital only, and I didn't have a PS5 at the time. So it was Xbox One, or I guess Series X, PS5, and Switch were the ones that were available. So I was like, okay, I'll buy the Switch One first, and then eventually buy a PS5 at some point. So I did. So haven't actually played this version yet. And we might at some point. I'm not 100% sure when. Same with Cult of Lamb. But yeah, a little bit funny. But yeah, so like I said, Last of Us is actually my most bought game series besides Minecraft. Like, no joke. Like, I own Minecraft on pretty much every platform. I own it on PC, I own it on Xbox One, 360, Switch, PS5. I owned it on mobile at points. I've owned it on 3DS. I've owned it on pretty much any platform that you could get it on. PS3. There's only a couple platforms that I don't own it on, just because I don't have the hardware. But yeah, pretty much it's, and like I said, in terms of Last of Us, I own it even on PC. So yeah, like I own it on pretty much everything. So anyways, bye bye.